All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep into the world of product management.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
And we've got a really cool resource to help us along the way. We're talking the Product Management Casebook 2.0, created by the Novus Product Management Club.
At IIM Visakhapatnam.
IIM Visakhapatnam in India.
Really, really cool stuff.
So this is like getting insights straight from the source.
Absolutely.
And you know what's even cooler? This casebook.
Yeah.
It's not just theory. It's packed with actual case studies and insights from, real-life product managers.
Real product managers. And the thing that I find really interesting is this was put together under the guidance of Professor Amit Shankar, who's the Dean of Research and the Associate Professor of Marketing at IIM Visakhapatnam.
So we're talking some serious academic firepower here.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got this awesome resource from India. And it's like a window into, what it really takes to be a product manager. So let's just start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is product management?
It's a great question.
Like, what does a product manager actually do?
Well, the Casebook defines it as kind of the art and science of guiding a product from its initial idea, like the spark, all the way to launch and then even beyond.
Yeah, so it's not just like coming up with a cool idea and then calling it a day.
No, it's not just brainstorming.
It's really seeing that thing through.
Absolutely.
It's the whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole process. And it's about understanding the market.
Right.
It's about crafting the strategy. It's about making sure that the user experience is top-notch.
That makes sense.
So it's really a multifaceted role.
I'm hearing you say that it's not just about the product itself.
No.
It's about the people using the product.
It is about the people, and it's about understanding the business needs as well.
So you're telling me a product manager has to be like this mass juggler,
Yeah.
keeping all these balls in the air.
Yeah, keeping all the balls in the air, understanding the customer, understanding the business, trying to find that sweet spot where you can create something that people actually want, that they need.
And that makes money.
And that makes money and makes sense for the business.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's a business.
It's a business.
So how do they even manage all of that? Like, what kind of, frameworks or methods do they use to keep everything on track?
Well, the Casebook highlights the importance of Agile methodologies, and particularly Scrum.
Oh, yeah, Scrum.
Which you've probably heard of.
Heard of it, not sure. I totally get it.
Well, it's basically about, breaking down the work into smaller chunks.
Okay, manageable chunks.
Yeah, and having these, what they call sprints.
Sprints, okay.
So you have these shorter cycles where you're focusing on a specific set of tasks.
Yeah.
You're gathering feedback constantly, and you're being adaptable to change.
So it's not like you have this, rigid plan.
No.
You just stick to no matter what.
No, it's much more dynamic, much more responsive to what's happening in the real world.
So are you saying that a product manager needs to be like a jazz musician? Just kind of like improvising and riffing as they go?
That's a fantastic analogy, yeah.
Because the market changes so quickly.
Exactly, and customer needs evolve and new technologies emerge, so you have to be able to adapt on the fly.
I'm starting to see why this casebook is so cool.
Yeah?
It's like, it's not just, textbook definitions.
Yeah.
It's like real world stuff that you can actually use.
Real world insights from real product managers.
Okay, so speaking of real world insights,
Yeah?
the casebook dives deep into something called the product backlog.
Ah.
Okay, is that like some secret vault where they keep their wildest ideas?
Not quite a vault, but it is a place where they keep track of all their ideas and features and bug fixes.
So it's like a to-do list for the product.
It's a to-do list, but it's a prioritized to-do list because you can't do everything at once. So you have to figure out what's the most important, what's going to deliver the most value.
Okay, so you've got this backlog, it's prioritized, but how do you decide what to actually build first? Like, do you just throw darts at a board?
That's where things get interesting, and the Casebook really emphasizes the importance of user stories.
User stories.
Yeah, have you heard of these?
I feel like I've heard of them, but I need a refresher.
Yeah, so a user story is basically a short, simple description of a feature.
Okay.
But it's from the perspective of the user.
Ah.
So instead of saying, implement a new database.
Right, very technical.
You would say something like, as a user, I want to be able to easily search for products so I can find what I'm looking for quickly.
Okay, so it's like putting yourself in the shoes of the person who's actually going to be using this product.
Exactly.
And understanding what they need.
It helps you focus on the value that that feature is going to bring to the user.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But even with user stories, that backlog can still get pretty overwhelming, right?
Absolutely.
How do product managers avoid just getting bogged down in this, endless sea of features and ideas.
Well, that's where they have to get really strategic, and there are frameworks that can help with this.
Like what?
So one of the frameworks that the Casebook highlights is called the Kano model.
The Kano model. Okay.
And this model basically helps you categorize features
Okay.
based on their potential impact on user satisfaction.
Okay.
So you've got features that are must-haves.
Like the essentials.
Exactly. The things that if your product doesn't have them, people are just going to be like, forget it, I'm out of here.
Right. Deal breakers.
Exactly. Then you've got features that are delighters.
Oh, the fun stuff.
The things that go above and beyond.
Right.
Maybe they're unexpected, but they create that wow factor.
Okay, so it's like you've got your everyday essentials, and then you've got like, the fancy occasion outfit
Exactly. Yeah.
that you pull out every now and then.
And then you've got, I guess, the clothes that just sit in your closet that you never wear. Those are the features that maybe you thought were a good idea at the time.
Right, they sounded good on paper.
Yeah, but in reality, they're just distractions.
They don't really add any value.
Exactly.
So a good product manager knows how to like sort through their closet and get rid of those distractions.
Yes, and focus on the essentials and sprinkle in some of those delighters.
So it's not just about like building every feature under the sun.
No.
It's about being really strategic.
It's about being strategic.
And focusing on what really matters.
Absolutely.
Both to your users and to the business.
At the business, aligning with those business goals.
Okay, I'm already like my mind is blown.
Yeah.
This is great stuff.
There's so much more to uncover.
I know, and I can't wait to dig in further.
Yeah, me too.
But before we do, I want to know a little bit more about this Novus Product Management Club at IIM Visakhapatnam.
Okay.
Like, who are these people?
That's a great question, and it's something that we can definitely delve into. So the Novus Product Management Club.
Yeah, at IIM Visakhapatnam.
They're a group of MBA students
Okay.
who are really passionate about product management.
Makes sense. I mean, they're at a top business school in India.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really cool is they didn't just, throw this casebook together.
Yeah.
They did a ton of research.
Okay.
They collaborated with each other. They reached out to actual product managers in the field.
So they got like the real world perspective.
Absolutely. They wanted to make sure that this casebook wasn't just theoretical.
Yeah.
It was grounded in what's actually happening out there.
So real practical stuff.
Real practical stuff. And they talked to product managers from all sorts of industries.
Oh, wow.
So you're getting a really diverse set of perspectives.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And one of the things that kept coming up was the importance of understanding the entire product lifecycle.
The product lifecycle.
So it's not enough to just focus on the launch. You need to be thinking about how the product's going to evolve, how it's going to adapt, and eventually, maybe even retire.
So it's like a product's journey.
It's a journey.
From birth to, well, maybe not death.
Not death, maybe retirement.
Retirement, okay.
Yeah.
So what are the stages of this journey?
So the casebook outlines 4 main stages.
Okay.
You've got the introduction stage.
Introduction.
Then growth, maturity, and decline.
Right, so it's like a product's life.
Yeah, kind of like the stages of life.
So let's break those down a little bit.
Okay.
What happens during that introduction phase?
So the introduction phase is all about, making a splash.
Okay.
It's about generating buzz, getting those early adopters on board.
Right, because nobody knows about it yet.
Exactly. You're trying to create awareness.
Yeah.
And it's a time of high costs.
Okay.
And potential uncertainty.
You don't really know.
You don't know how it's going to go.
If it's going to be a hit or a flop.
Exactly. So you're trying to figure out what's working, what's not.
Do you have any examples from the casebook that illustrate this stage?
Yeah, there's a really interesting case study about a fitness tracker.
Okay.
That initially struggled to gain traction.
Really?
Yeah, they had a great product,
Yeah.
but their marketing message wasn't quite right.
Oh, so it's not enough to just have a good product?
No, you have to be able to communicate the value.
Got to tell the story.
Yeah, tell the story, connect with the right audience.
So they had to like go back and rework their marketing.
They did, yeah. They had to refine their positioning, really highlight the unique benefits of their tracker.
Makes sense.
And eventually they were able to turn things around.
Okay, so that's the introduction phase.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about growth.
Okay, so growth is when things start to take off.
Okay, this is the fun part.
Yeah, this is where you see that hockey stick growth.
Ah, hockey stick, I love it.
Sales are increasing, word of mouth is spreading.
People are talking about it.
People are excited about it.
That must feel good.
It feels really good, but it also comes with its own set of challenges.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you have to be able to scale up.
Keep up with demand.
Keep up with demand. You might need to expand into new markets.
Right, because now you've got a bigger audience.
Exactly, and competitors start to take notice.
Oh, competition.
Yeah, so you can't just sit back and relax.
Yeah, you got to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, you got to keep innovating.
So what's a good example of a company that did this well?
So the Casebook talks about a mobile gaming company
Okay.
that was really successful during this growth phase.
Yeah.
They were constantly releasing updates, they were adding new features,
Keeping things fresh.
and they were really engaged with their community.
Oh, so they were listening to their users.
Absolutely. They were getting feedback, and they were using that feedback to improve the game.
Smart move.
Yeah, so they were able to maintain that momentum, that excitement.
Okay. So we've got introduction, we've got growth. What comes next?
So eventually, most products reach the maturity phase.
Maturity.
And this is where growth starts to level off.
Oh, okay. So the honeymoon's over.
The honeymoon's over, the market might be saturated.
Right. Everyone who's going to buy it has already bought it.
Yeah, so you need to find new ways to differentiate your product.
Okay. So you're going to get creative.
Yeah, maybe you focus on niche markets.
Okay.
Or you add new features that appeal to a wider audience.
So you're trying to like re-engage people.
Yeah, keep them interested.
Any good examples of companies that pulled this off?
Yeah, there's a case study about a software company
Right.
that was able to extend the life of their product
Yeah.
by offering specialized versions for different industries.
Oh, so they like tailored it.
Yeah, they customized it to meet the specific needs of different groups.
So they found a way to make it relevant.
Exactly. They made it relevant to new audiences.
Cool. All right. So we've got introduction, growth, maturity.
Yeah.
What's the final stage?
So the final stage is the decline stage.
Decline. Okay.
Yeah. This is where things start to slow down.
The sad part.
Yeah. Sales drop, customer interest wanes.
Nobody wants it anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of the natural life cycle of a product.
Is there any coming back from this stage?
It's rare,
Okay.
but it's not impossible.
Okay.
Sometimes companies can revitalize a product.
Okay.
Maybe they find a new use for it,
Oh, interesting.
or they target a new market.
So they give it like a second life?
Exactly, a second wind.
So like that old pair of jeans that you find in the back of your closet,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I can totally wear these again.
Yeah, you give them a new look, a new purpose.
All right. So it is possible to come back from decline.
It is possible, but sometimes the best decision is to just let it go.
Retire it gracefully.
Retire it gracefully, yeah, and focus your energy on new products.
So the product life cycle, it's like a roller coaster ride.
It is, with its ups and downs.
It's twists and turns.
And product managers need to be prepared for all of it.
So speaking of being prepared,
Yeah.
can we talk about guesstimates?
Yes, that's a great point.
Because I'm really intrigued by this whole concept.
Yeah, it's a really valuable skill for product managers.
So like break it down for me.
Okay, so a guesstimate is basically an educated estimate,
Okay.
but you're often doing it with limited data.
Oh, so you don't have all the information.
You don't have all the information, you have to use your intuition, your logic.
You gut feel it.
Yeah, to some extent, but it's not just about pulling numbers out of thin air.
Right.
It's about using what you do know to make a reasonable guess.
Okay, so give me an example of like a guesstimation question.
Okay, so imagine you're launching a new food delivery app.
Okay, I love food delivery apps.
Yeah, who doesn't?
So you're launching this app in a new city,
Yeah,
and you need to figure out how many orders you're going to get.
exactly. Like on a typical Saturday night.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so how do you even start to answer that question?
I have no idea.
Well, the Casebook gives you a really structured approach.
Okay.
You start by defining the scope. So in this case, it's the geographical area.
Oh, right.
And the time frame.
Saturday night.
Exactly. Then you gather whatever data you can.
Okay, so like population density.
Yeah, population density, average income levels, maybe some data on existing food delivery services in the area.
So you're using real world information.
Absolutely, as a starting point.
But then you still have to like make some guesses right.
You do, but they're educated guesses.
Okay.
So for example, you might assume that a certain percentage of the population orders food delivery on a Saturday night.
Okay, makes sense.
And then you might further assume that your app will capture a certain percentage of that market.
Right, because you're not going to get everyone.
You're not going to get everyone. There's competition.
So you're breaking down this big problem into smaller pieces.
Exactly. And by making these assumptions, you can come up with a pretty good estimate.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a really useful skill.
Okay, I'm definitely adding guesstimation to my product management toolkit.
I think that's a good idea.
Now, you mentioned PLM earlier, product lifecycle management.
Yes.
Let's dive into that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so PLM, product lifecycle management.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds kind of like a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful, but it's a really important concept.
So what is it?
Basically, it's a way of managing a product's entire journey.
Okay, the whole shebang.
From the very beginning, the idea phase,
Uh-huh.
all the way to the end, maybe even retirement.
So it's like having a roadmap for your product.
It's a roadmap. It's a blueprint. It's a way of making sure that you're considering all the different stages.
And that you're making the most of each stage.
Exactly, because each stage has its own unique challenges and opportunities.
Right, so you got to be prepared.
You got to be prepared, and PLM helps you do that.
So it's not just about managing existing products. It's also about helping you develop new products.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Well, because PLM often involves gathering a lot of data about your product, about your customers, about the market.
So you're like learning from your past experiences.
Exactly. You're seeing what worked, what didn't work.
And using that information
to inform your future decision.
to make better products.
To make better products, to come up with new ideas.
So we're talking like software here?
Yeah, often PLM involves using some kind of software.
Okay.
That acts as a central hub for all this information.
So it's like a one-stop shop for everything product-related.
Yeah, you've got your design specs, your marketing materials, your customer feedback.
All in one place.
All in one place.
So no more like digging through emails.
No more digging through emails, no more spreadsheets scattered all over the place.
Everyone's on the same page.
Everyone's on the same page, literally.
Okay, so what are the benefits of using this kind of software?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is that it streamlines communication.
Okay.
So you've got your engineers, your designers, your marketers, everyone's talking to each other.
No more silos?
No more silos, everyone's collaborating.
Which means you can get products to market faster.
Exactly. Time to market is crucial.
Especially in today's world.
Yeah, everything's moving so quickly.
Okay, so speed is one benefit. What about quality?
Quality is also improved because with PLM, you're tracking every change that's made to the product.
Okay.
So you can make sure that everything is consistent, you're reducing errors.
So you're like keeping a close eye on things.
Absolutely. You're maintaining a high level of quality control.
Now let's talk about the bottom line.
Okay.
Cost.
Yeah, cost is always a factor.
So does PLM have any impact on cost?
It does, because by streamlining processes, eliminating waste,
Okay.
you can actually reduce production costs.
Which means more profit.
Which means more profit, which makes everyone happy.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win for the business, for the customer.
And I'm guessing for the planet too.
Yeah, because less waste means a smaller environmental footprint.
So it's like a triple bottom line.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got speed, quality, cost, anything else.
Oh yeah, PLM can also help with risk management.
Okay, risk management.
Because you have a better understanding of the product lifecycle.
You can see potential problems coming.
Exactly. You can anticipate challenges. You can mitigate risks.
So you're not just like flying blind.
No, you're being proactive.
Okay, PLM is pretty awesome.
It is a powerful tool.
And I love that this casebook doesn't just tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It actually gives you practical advice on how to use it.
Real-world guidance, case studies, examples.
So it's not just theory.
No, it's actionable stuff.
This casebook is like a gold mine.
It's a treasure trove of information.
All right, so we've talked about Agile methodologies, the product lifecycle, guesstimates, PLM. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I think the biggest takeaway is that product management is all about creating value.
Value for the user.
Value for the user, value for the business.
Value for the world.
Absolutely, and it's a constantly evolving field.
You got to stay on your toes.
You got to stay on your toes.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to learn and adapt.
And this casebook from IIM Visakhapatnam.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to learn more.
It's a great starting point. It's a great way to get your feet wet.
So if you're feeling inspired, check it out.
Definitely check it out. And remember, the world needs more great product managers.
So go out there and build something amazing.
Build something amazing. Build something that matters.
That's it for this deep dive into the world of product management.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.